I love cabbage. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking. Tonight on the show, I have a lovely piece of meat to cook for us. Not for you, you're not here. What I have here is a beef loin tri-tip. Tri-tip, as you might be able to visualize, is in a triangle. The tri-tip is part of the sirloin. I think it's the bottom part. It's very popular out west to be cooked whole, frequently grilled. I'm gonna do it inside. I'm not grilling today. It's also November now, so probably shouldn't be grilling too much. But anyways, let's start with our meat. We're gonna preheat the oven to 350 degrees. I already started that process, so just wanna let you know about that. And let's see what we're working with here. So this came in my farm share. So this is local, which is always nice. And we've got a big fat cap. Absolutely massive fat cap. And then we've got silver skin on the other side. So I am for sure gonna try to remove at least some of the silver skin. I don't get too sweaty about it, and I like to use a combination of pulling and then slicing as well. So I'm gonna work on trimming this for just a couple minutes here, and then we can decide if we wanna keep the fat cap or not. I think most likely I'm gonna keep it, specifically because I think it will be a bitch to actually get that thing off. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done trimming it up. Okay, so here's my fairly reasonable job. Did I do the best job ever? No. Did you expect me to? You shouldn't have. I'm gonna leave that fat cap on because I think it would be so difficult for me to get this off that I would lose a bunch of the meat with it. So probably what I'm gonna end up doing is we're gonna sear this and we're gonna finish it in the oven. So basically, we're not gonna really eat this fat anyways. Maybe we'll chop it off at the end, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna do it fat cap down, which is not that conventional, I don't think. All right, so let's season this up, and let's get our cast iron skillet on please. Thank you. Get that heated up and get this seasoned. Again, I'm not gonna worry about the fat cap too terribly much. Probably just salt it, and then we'll do some seasoning on the other side. A little bit more, just a little bit more in general. Tri-tips are frequently seasoned with something called Santa Maria seasoning. And in its most basic form, that includes salt, pepper, and garlic. Wild stuff there. Sometimes there's a bit of sugar, sometimes some MSG, but that's what we'll use today. Salt and pepper and some garlic. Santa Maria! Trying to have one clean hand and one dirty gloved hand, which is not going to work with the pepper, but that's okay. I'll just figure it out. I think today I'm going to cook in lard, but canola oil would be fine. I particularly like lard for searing meats. I think it tastes great, and I happen to have an enormous tub of it, so I gotta use that. And we'll get that hot and smoky just to sear it. By the way, I let my meat come up to room temperature-ish. So big piece of meat, I let it rest in my sink for maybe 2 hours before we started cooking today. So that should help with a more even cook. And now that I've got things in process, I can have a drink, which is the first step. But it's not today. Here's a 614 lager, light Midwestern lager. Oh, it's so good. Let's be a second on this. All right, it's searing time. You can tell because the pan's smoking. It's hot. All right, naturally, you're gonna wanna ventilate your kitchen, so we got the window open. And depending on how dry the meat, like if you had dried it off at all, you could get some real sputtering, so be careful. Really, really critical when searing meat, don't f with it. Just leave it alone for some time, and we'll check on it. Really, what I like to do is just, I like to peek. Like you do it, you're not supposed to look, and you take a little peek. That's what I do, and that's gonna be super easy with the tri-tip because it's got a little corner that you can be like, oh, let me peek under that corner. What's going on down there? Okay, that's it for now. Okay, now let me demonstrate how I do the peeking. So what's going on down there? Look under that corner. Well, that's looking real nice. I think it's ready to flip, and we'll flip it over. Now, I will comment, we got a big, hefty, and healthy sear here, but because of the way I trimmed the silver skin, this part of the meat did not actually have an opportunity to come in contact with the pan, so it did not get a sear in that hole. That's one of the benefits of being really sweaty about trimming your meat. But do I think that beef will taste bad? No. So again, I just put the fat cap on the bottom. We're gonna pop this bad boy into the oven. and we're gonna check this in 15 minutes. Probably will not take that long to roast it all. Okay, while that's going, I'm gonna make some sauce today. I'm just gonna wing it. I like to do this from time to time. I kind of call it intuitively cooking. So I want something that we can like kind of drizzle over the meat. Probably gonna eat it on tacos. So that's my idea today. All right, so I have a whole bunch of cilantro here. So here is one bunch of cilantro. Wow. I also think that to get even more vegetal flavor, I'm gonna add a couple green onions. So kind of what we'll be starting with will be almost like a chimichurri. And then we'll kind of take it from there and see what happens. Got some garlic, 4 cloves, and we're gonna blitz this all together, so we should be able to just throw them in, just crushed and peeled. I definitely want lime juice. A couple limes. These are not juicy limes. All right, just to get things started, I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. I'm using canola oil, but you could use like olive oil if you wanted. And I almost forgot, I'm gonna add a little Serrano. So we got some spice. And for the benefit of John, I'm gonna remove the seeds because I want him to be able to enjoy this. And I recently cooked a little dinner the other night for Courtney and me that had one of these Serranos in the whole dish. It was almost too spicy for her to eat. So what I'm doing is incredibly stupid, and then I was just shoving the tender part of my finger into the spicy part of the pepper. So if you have like any cuts or anything, that'll just really wreck yourself there. So don't do that unless you don't care. Oh, Jesus! What is going on with this pepper? Woo! Oh, what the f? What is happening? It's a Serrano. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so that's all the spice we'll need. Whew. All right. Ooh. Let's get that started and see what we're working with here. So I'm gonna shove it down. Ooh. And it's obvious to me that I don't have enough liquid to do what I'm trying to do, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of water. Okay. Actually, it is not too spicy. That is a very moderate level of spice. First impressions, it lacks pungentness, and I think I want it to be creamy. I think we're gonna go that rate. I think it just needs more twang to it. So I'm gonna dump some sour cream in here. You could use mayonnaise if you wanted to, but sour cream would probably be a flavor that kind of blends in a little bit better. It also really needs some salt. Pop some of that in there. And I think I'm gonna add some vinegar as well, because I want this to be a lot more pungent than it currently is. Why don't we use some citrus champagne vinegar? We'll just pop the rest in. We'll give this a whirl, see how that treats us. Oh, but it tastes great. I will comment, this is a little thinner than I would have preferred. I did add some water, as you all witnessed, in order to be able to blitz those things, but that's okay. It also may thicken up a little bit if we pop it in the fridge for a little while. So there's our sauce for today. Ooh, baby. It's been 15 minutes, our beef's looking thick. So let's go ahead and temp check it. I'm gonna temp check it at a couple of spots. Over here we're at 105. Over here we're at 115. So you want to go by the thickest part of the steak. So we're at 105 in the thickest part. 105, that ain't done. I'm gonna check this every 5 minutes. I'm hoping that we can pull it. Well, at the thickest part it's like 120, 125. We'll rest it, it'll continue to come up to temperature, and that should bump us up into like that medium rare range, which I think will be quite nice. So while that's going, let's get our other shit. I got a head of cabbage. I love cabbage. Think about that cabbage all the time. Now I'm gonna demo for you that you can use a mandolin to do very thinly sliced cabbage. It's a little bit messy sometimes, but it is a way, particularly if you lack nuance or finesse with a knife. It's gonna be a real nice way to get some shredded cabbage for your meal. And hey, guess what? We can do the same thing with red onion. That's probably plenty of onions for us. And we'll chop a lime. That's way too much cabbage, by the way, but just the right amount for me. So super simple, and those will be our toppings. Okay, it's been another 5. I have a feeling it's probably pretty close to where we want it to be. What a majestic piece of meat, huh? All right, from that angle we got 115. From this angle over here we got 130. Over here we got a little bit higher. So again, it's an amorphous and unsymmetrical piece of meat. I'm gonna did not cook it no more. There's our fat boy on the bottom. Actually looks pretty sick. We're gonna move this just to a plate. We're gonna let that rest. Let that meat continue to cook and also cool down a little bit so we can eat it. And what we're gonna do in the meantime is that with this beautiful pan full of lard and beef drippings, we're gonna cook vegetables in that so that we can eat vegetables cooked in that. That makes the vegetables taste really good. And what will we cook? A zucchini. You can chop the zucchini to your preference, and these will just be a vehicle for enjoying that meat a second time. And we'll fry these up. We will season them a little bit, but remember that some seasoning will come off the beef as well. So be mindful of that. I have some black beans going in the back. We're gonna hit those with cumin and oregano, which is what we always do with black beans in this house. And the only other thing that I forgot to do so far is I was gonna chop some avocado. So I'm just gonna slice that up as a topping. And like I said, we're gonna eat these on tacos, tortillas, which I am not gonna show you how I'm gonna heat them up because you don't wanna see that because I'm not gonna do it right. So, you know, the Chef Mike, my sous chef, is gonna help with those tortillas. Okay, our zucchini is not totally cooked, but I am gonna turn the heat off and just let these sit in the pan while we do other stuff, because they'll continue to cook. So let's go ahead and carve the meat. Now my understanding is that the tri-tip has multiple grains, and typically what you want to do is carve meat against the grain in order for it to be more tender when you actually eat it. So visually inspecting, oh look at that fat cap. It actually did kind of melt away. That's interesting. So I'm gonna start, just call me crazy, I'm gonna chop the damn thing in half. Well, let's see what we're working with. Here's our initial exposure, and just as I suspected, even with the most center of this being relatively underdone, letting it rest for a while brought us up to that medium rare. Almost in the realm of medium. I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks excellent. Now, how do we chop it from here? I think I'm just gonna start chopping and see what happens. I am probably gonna slip my knife through the fat cap to remove some of the excess. Look how preposterously juicy this meat is. It's just like dumping juice. It's about to fly off the old cutting board. So these cuts closer to the center are much more rare. And as we get closer to the outside, we have more well done pieces. You know, give your friends options. Let me just eat this beef with my hands. God damn, that's good. Oh man, that's some of the best beef I've ever had. Woo, that is delicious, and the juice is on the loose. Oh my God, we're juicing over here. Shit. Okay, this tastes so damn good. I can't even believe it. I can believe it. So I've got some corn tortillas here, and I know this stuff is juicy, so I'm using 2. It would be a lot kinder to the enjoyer of this food to cut the beef into smaller pieces than this for a taco, but right now the enjoyer is me, and I don't care. So to that, we're gonna add some beautiful avocado, some thin sliced onion, a splash of lime, totally unnecessary because we're gonna hit it with sauce. I gotta have my cabbage, like so, and our cilantro sauce. We'll just kind of give it a dressing with that. And that is how we're preparing our dinner tonight. We will also serve it with the zucchini and beans, but I'm not gonna plate those because there ain't no room on the plate. So I just wanted to show this nice little taco. All right, let's try our taco today. That beef's so tender, it doesn't even matter it's not chopped up. It's phenomenal. Wow. That's like exactly what I wanted for dinner. Well, that's how you do it. We just gotta end the show. I'm just gonna go pound some food. We'll see you next time on PGC.